even though we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, October 1st, it'll be 40 years since the first person who did. We have a couple staff members here who were here on that day. We'll hear from them later. But as a part of the 40th, we'd like to share a couple of special things with you. I'm not going to share very much tonight. I'm going to turn it over to others. We've got 4 people from the past who have been asked to come up and share a few thoughts, some memories, and then we'll have a video that captures the part of the 40th, the 40 years. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our speakers. I want to give them plenty of time. I'll tell you who's coming, and I'll introduce them each as they do that. We're going to have Bob Pflederer, who was our original medical director. He also is a deacon in the Morton Apostolic Christian Church, and I don't know if he's going to share some thoughts from that also or not. And I gave them pretty free rein about what they want to share. The original administrator, Bob Nala, will share. And our first activity director, Bob Funk. And then the sister of one of our 2 first residents, Sharon Kelson, will share. So I'm going to turn it over and let Bob begin. When they're done, I'll share some others.
Well, Ron asked me to share a few thoughts, and there are a few that come back. If I remember correctly, you correct me, Ron, if I say something wrong here, but I think Harold Miller was the first resident. I knew he was the first or second, and I thought the first, from Portland, Oregon. And it was my job as medical director to interview and to examine every new resident as they came in. And then to help introduce them into their new home. There were a lot of empty rooms. There weren't many people going up and down the hallway. But Harold was a delight. As most of you knew him all of his life, he was a delight to have around, always positive. But the memory that really sticks out probably most in my mind was one of the early, maybe not the second, and I had forgotten his name. Ron tells me it's Jim Hammer. But I'll never forget him because I think at that time Sherry Berkey was the director of nursing, and she called me to come because we had another resident that needed an examination, and they had him in an exam room. Sitting in a wheelchair waiting for me, and so I opened the door, my clipboard, my stethoscope, and I walked in, and as an introduction to myself and what was going to happen, I said, hello, I must have said hello, Jim. I'm really blocking on his name, but hello, Jim, I'm Dr. Pflederer. And I said, do you have any problems? I thought that was quite a normal question. And his answer stuck with me. He had cerebral palsy, and he paused, sitting in his wheelchair, and he was like he was winding up. He said, yeah, he said, you're looking at me. I don't remember any of the rest of the examination, but I really grew to like him. And then later he got married. And I don't know what happened after that. So that was the biggest memory of my education to the handicapped.